History is all around our Ozarks life. Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight as buildings and parking garages go up in downtown Springfield. The city of Springfield is literally growing around a piece of history.
It's the oldest city-owned building, opened in 1892.
The Calaboose, which is based on the Spanish word for dungeon, is the old city jail. Cells held prisoners arrested for stealing, assault, and public intoxication.
Driving your wagon too fast down the square. It's just small city charges where you get locked up for a day or two.
Jailbreaks were not uncommon, with keys passed through the ground floor windows, but also the story of two women in the late 1800s breaking a hole into the ceiling and climbing onto the roof. One woman escaped, the other fell to her death.
There were a lot of chaotic times back then.
Eventually, the old jail was closed and the building was used as storage. But recently, Springfield had an idea for its oldest building still standing.
I volunteered to reopen it as a museum and basically remodel it. I like doing research. I'm a history nut, I guess you could say.
Rob Schrader, a veteran of the Springfield Police Department, loves history and has taken on the role of curating this police museum. A collection of badges, handguns, uniforms, radar guns.
A polygraph machine that was used during the 3 missing women cases.
There's also headlines from some of the most infamous cases SPD worked.
1953 Cobra scare. In the 1930s, we had the Young Brothers Massacre. That was the era of the big bandits. You know, one of our officers was kidnapped by Bonnie and Clyde. Pretty Boy Floyd was a local here around Springfield, and Babyface Nelson. All those people had passed through Springfield.
An eye-opening display is in this shadow box. Before the gas chamber was used in Jeff City, this is the noose used in the last 2 executions by public hanging in the state of Missouri.
People see that and gets their attention, and a conversation started.
Along with collections, there's also a carving in one of the cell's ceilings. 2 bandits left by someone decades ago. And some believe some of the inmates are still serving time inside this calaboose.
At one time, officers actually had offices on the 2nd floor here, and they always had tales of hearing things and things moving that shouldn't have been.
And so, yes, the calaboose is on the annual haunted tour around Halloween. But during the spring and summer art walks, Rob hopes visitors leave with a glimpse of how amazing Springfield history is.
We try to make the displays so people realize that Springfield wasn't a little quiet community 100 years ago.
The Calaboose is open Fridays during Art Walk, but not in March, a little bit later this spring. There's also a room inside dedicated to officers, deputies, and troopers killed in the line of duty. And Rob is always looking for donations of police pictures, uniforms, equipment that he could put on display. The most treasured would be finding that 1931 Harley Davidson the Calaboose had on display during the 150th celebration of the Springfield Police Department, but it has since gone missing.